everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this is the Thunder Show, aka WLTV, the 14th most popular show on the internet, moving up the ranks because of your support, and that feels darn rad. So, today we're focusing on something very interesting. We do not carry any of these wines. However, these wines are available through Costco's around the country. People have been asking me to taste them, and that's what I do. I am a public service announcement. Kids, be careful of Halloween candy. And today we're going to focus on 3 wines, which I don't have the price points on. So I'm going to need somebody to jump into the comments and put what the price points are. And I think it's going to get real funny because they're probably selling them for different prices in different parts of the country. It's going to get a battle royal in there in the form, and that's good. And I want everybody, including the lurkers, come on, suck-ass lurkers, jump into the comments this time. I really want to see us push 300, 400, 500 comments. It makes me feel good. I want people to contribute. I'm going to think of a really good question of the day to force the contribution. Usually when a question of the day is good, you get a better volume of participation. And so that makes me awfully happy because I like the interaction. It's why I do this darn show. And the other reason I do is because I get to taste wines like this that I normally would never taste. Now let me give Costco a lot of credit. These come from 3 very reputable producers. So they've teamed up with really good producers of good wines to create this Kirkland, which is their private label brand, wines. People wear Kirkland shoes like Eric, and you get Kirkland napkins and newspaper and bags. We use the Kirkland garbage bags, I think. And Kirkland is a brand that's taken over the world. Walmart and Kirkland. That's it. That's all we got left. So they've done a nice job in branding this, and I think they sell lots and lots of wine, I assume. They do have 1 billion stores all over the place, and they're big, and the prices are probably very fair. And so I'm excited about seeing the wines, but I know that the producers are very good. So I'm curious to see what these wines are tasting like, and let's get right into it. The first wine, coming in at some price point, probably in the ballpark of $10, is the Grenache Shiraz Mourvedre blend. It comes from the producer known as Burge, who's a great producer. This is 41% Grenache, 36% Shiraz, 23% Mourvedre, and it's from the 2004 vintage from Barossa. 13.9 alcohol content, and let's see what this wine has. Probably has a good little pack of punch. Let's see what's going on here. A rinse. Now it's Tuesday today, so the Steelers already beat the Ravens on Monday Night Football. And what else happened? I don't know. Other things, such as what's going on with the writer's strike in Hollywood? Is that on? Still going on, clearly.
You should talk about how the stock market closed on Monday.
How the stock market closed. Yahoo's still doing well. All right, some really, really nice color. You always expect that from the Barossa Valley, the land of dark, dark color. Let's give this wine a good sniffy sniff and see what's up. There's some really pretty plum components coming through on the nose, a little spiciness coming through, black pepper. It smells exactly like you would expect from Barossa Valley. Ripe fruit, little spice, little fake high C action. I'm right at home in Barossa right now. Very comfortable with this smell. It's a classic little cherry, little raspberry, red fruits you get out of Barossa so often. Let's give this a little bit of a whirl. Really nice mouthfeel. Wow. Probably the wine that most tastes like raspberry that I've come across, period. Unlike all the other wines, which raspberry is constantly used by me, this wine, to a new wine drinker, will taste like raspberry juice. I mean, it's that raspberry-esque. I didn't want to say esque, but I still had to stick with it. It's that raspberry-esque. It's nice and polished. It's got a really hollow mid-palate, which bothers me. But again, thinking that this wine is about $10, it's a very nice value. Again, this is all skewed, if I'm wrong, by the price on that end. But really the price has no impact, so it doesn't really matter to me. I like the spicy sweet component going on here. It's not Chinese food type style, but it's more like, there's black pepper mixed in with this raspberry. Those are real 2 dominant flavors. It's got nice mouthfeel. This is an adequate drink. And when you go AD on me, I'm down with you. This is an 88, 87, 87 plus point wine. I'm very happy with the way it's drinking. It's polished. It's smooth. It's got some nice flavors. The hollow mid-palate hurts it. Makes me almost want to veer towards 86, but that's worn by Chris Baker, my favorite tight end of the Jets, who does not get the ball thrown to him as much as he deserves. However, this last week with Kellen Clemens, he got the ball much more, and that made me excited. Now, this wine is just flat out standard. However, this push of raspberry, if you're down with raspberry, if you eat raspberries, this is a wine worth seeking out. There's some nice dry tannins on the finish. Adequate, really solid. I'm going to go 87 points in this wine. Dry tannins, raspberry, pepper. You're down with those three, 2 of 3. Again, I think you'll be fond of the wine. Let's move on. Kirkland, 2005, Alexander Valley Cabernet, 14.2%. This comes from Nick Goldschmidt, who used to be involved with Simi and has his own brand of Forefathers. Does some really good stuff. I've been a big fan of what he does with these wines. I think this wine's rolling in about 15 to 20 bones. So it's a nice price point for Napa Valley Cab. It's got the nice bottle. It's got the signature flower from Goldschmidt. And let's see what it's got going on. Really nice color. There's definitely no lack of alcohol at all in this situation, which I'm appreciative. You appreciative, Bear? Appreciative. 2 people appreciative. Let's give it a little bit of a sniffy sniff. Actually has like a Petit Verdot kind of nose, which, you know, I'm a sucker for the PV, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, this comes through with a little bit of a vegetal component, which, you know, I'm going to lean towards. I like the black peppers. I almost get like a cheap mushroom smell, like, you know, the mushrooms that are just in the bag, not that expensive, not that special, but there's a little bit of that going through on this nose. There's an inkiness kind of coming through, almost like I would think of black ink that they used to write the beautiful letters in, you know, and it got poured out. And if you just put a little sugar in it, that's kind of what this would smell like to me. Like pure black ink, you know, with a little sugar on it. That's kind of what's going on here. Mixed in with those vegetables. Very interesting nose. Very different than you come across with a lot of California Cabernets, because I'm not getting the over-oaked component on the nose here that is so common in the Napa Valley. It is a dangerous place for the oak monster is everywhere, and you've got to watch your step. Let's give it a whirl. Very pretty nose. Nice ripe tannins. Very smooth, very polished. If you're down with the Franciscan and the Justin Cab that we talked about just 10 days, 2 weeks ago, this is another wine to put in that $15 to $20 adequate Cabernet drink. A little bit lower than the Franciscan that I had, in my opinion, but still very pretty on the mouthfeel. An 88 plus point Cabernet for sure. I like it. Still has some nice flavor coming through. Nice long finish. You know what? I'm going to bump it up to 89. The finish is still coming through. That's making me respect it even more. Yeah. Nice Cabernet. Good job. Let me just give it a little more of a whirl. Well made. Good, solid tannins. California Cabernet with the lack of over oak. I respect it. Good job, Costco. Good job, Forefathers. Good job, Nick Goldschmidt. Same thing. Just really well made. Definitely worth seeking out when you're in your local Costco. A very solid. Again, if it's in that $15 to $20 range, I just don't see how you're going to be upset. It's a really solid Cabernet. Let's move on. Nice. Kirkland Châteauneuf-du-Pape 2005, which is an exciting year. So this is a little too young, the Cuvée de Nils. And 50% Grenache, 40% Syrah, 10% Mourvedre Cinsault. 2005, an interesting year. Southern Rhone Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Let's give it a real solid rinse. So far, so good for Costco. Let's see if they can finish off strong with their Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Let's give it a little bit of a sniffy sniff. Like that, remember? That was awesome. tight nose, it's a young wine. It's been open for about an hour, not showing too much on the nose. That's definitely a concern. I think this will open up more as time and age in bottle or through decanter or more hours. What I'm getting right now is a little bit of a sweaty sock, which is never a problem for me. I don't mind. There's almost a lamb component coming through in the nose. I don't know what that even means. Lamb made me throw up once, which is really weird. Just felt like sharing that with the maniacs. Tight nose, not too much going on. Let's give it a whirl. A little bit of hint of blueberries, which is kind of pretty and nice. I get a flowery kind of component, believe it or not, in this wine. It gets a little gamey, which is fine and nice. All in all, the weight is too light, though, for me, and it's a little bit hollow in general. It's a wine that kind of lacks the Châteauneuf-du-Pape oomph that makes Châteauneuf-du-Pape so exciting and interesting to me. It is a young wine, so as you can see, I'm a little bit reserved to really bash it. I feel like it's got something going on. Got some really dry tannins. My mouth is really puckering right now, which is kind of fun. I don't mind. Yeah, this is a basic Châteauneuf-du-Pape. There's a lot of Châteauneuf-du-Papes rolling in at $20 these days that bring a little bit more oomph than this. This is probably in that $20, $25 range, I would assume. Again, I don't know. Again, $15, it's a really good buy. But some hints of cassis. I'm trying to break it down, but it's kind of boring. It's a boring Châteauneuf-du-Pape. It definitely doesn't have the weight or the explosion of flavor that I really enjoy at a quality Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I'm going to score this one 86 points. I'm going to give it a pass. At $15, I think it's worth exploring just because I would want people to try Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I have a feeling it's not that price. It's probably closer to 20, 25. All in all, a wine that I probably is the weakest of the bunch. I think you almost get, this is a little bit more of a New World version of this, but definitely a lot less money, so something I would recommend higher to people. All in all, though, a very solid showing across the board for all the wines from the Costco brand. I think a lot of people would look down on buying wine from a building that big, or they don't have the experts or the snooty factor, but all in all, and it's a private label, are they making too much money? Is it not that good? Are they leveraging their brand? I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the wines, all in all. I think the Forefathers even, I'm going to give it a whirl. It's starting to grow on me even more late. Forefathers is even a wine that I think can really straddle and get to the 90-point Mendoza line, which is a really exciting score for me, for my own personal, again, don't listen to a word I'm saying. It's a good cab. It's a good cab. Interesting. Anyway, question of the day. All in all, wrapping it up, Kirkland, wine's worth seeking out. Good job, Costco. Question of the day. I want to bring everybody out. I think this is a nice question. What are you reading? You, me, Costco, everybody. Let's change the wine world. I don't like that. You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world. Aren't we? Leave it there. Just one more, please. We're changing it.